Hello students, welcome back to NEET World channel. This is Narayani, I am your botany educator. In previous class, we complete the whole chapter of mineral nutrition students. So let's solve some of the EAPCET questions from the chapter of mineral nutrition. Okay, so let's start the session students. So here are some of the very important MCQs students, because some in the mineral nutrition chapter there are some topics. So beyond that topics it will not go the question from your MCQs point of view. So in that core I am discussing this MCQ question students, watch it out. So now see the first question, here is the first question, match the following students. So see here the first question, here they given the table 1 and 2, so we have to match it out. So which is the correct sequence that we have to keep the as answer. Sulfur. Sulfur is a macro element or micro element students? So see here first, so here they given some of the mineral nutrients and their actions here. So we have to match it out. So first given sulfur, molybdenum, zinc and iron. So these are the given. We have to choose according to it which is the main component for it. So we all know that, so in previous class we studied about the nodule formation, right? So for the nodule formation students, which is the enzyme is should be active in the prokaryotic organisms, that is nitrogenase enzyme. In that main protein is molybdenum and iron. So for the molybdenum is the main component for the nitrogenase enzyme, and it is also acts as cofactor for nitrate reductase. Nitrate reductase. So whatever the points I am saying you students, that remember in your mind. So these are the most repeating questions. So molybdenum is main for the nitrogenase enzyme, one of the main requirement element, and it is also acts as cofactor for nitrate reductase enzyme. Now see the first molybdenum. So molybdenum is a component of nitrogenase enzyme. Component of nitrogenase and nitrogenase enzyme. And next see the zinc. So coming to this zinc, zinc always involves in the oxygen synthesis, and it is also the cofactor for the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. Alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. So when we are going to learning about the enzymes chapter, then you came to know about it students. So if it is the enzyme, so without cofactor, which means the element is the mineral elements which are acting as a cofactors, then only it call it as a holoenzyme with cofactor. Actually these cofactor are zinc, Mg+2, any of it. Because of these cofactors only this enzyme will be active. Then only it will call it as holoenzyme. Without cofactor, they call it as apoenzyme. Without cofactor, they call it as apoenzyme. So mostly the enzymes are active with cofactors only. With the cofactors only. It is mainly involved in the oxygen synthesis and also in the activation of alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. So let's see the zinc. It is needed for the oxygen synthesis. Coming to the iron. So iron is the element. So see first option B is the option 3 and C is the option 2, right? Now coming to the A and D. So these are the, you have to remember molybdenum and also zinc students. So it is the most repeating. These are the mineral elements which are most repeatingly asking the questions. That is why I started from the molybdenum and zinc. Now see the, according to the question we can eliminate the options be like, so B is 3 and C is 2. So here is the given options, B is 3, right? Okay. So here is the B is 3 and C is 2. So here the options are wrong, students. Let's see the ourselves only. So coming to the iron. Iron is the main constituent for the ferredoxin. Main constituent for the ferredoxin also. So no, not iron, students. So sulfur is the main constituent for ferredoxin. So sulfur is the main component for amino acid synthesis. Main component for amino acids like cysteine, methionine, and many activation of many enzymes like and also vitamins like thiamine, biotin enzymes, and also main constituent for ferredoxin. Main constituent for ferredoxin, and it is also involves in the, it also forms the disulfide bonds to maintain the structure of the protein. Right, students? Sulfur is also maintains the protein structure by establishing the disulfide bonds. Okay. So coming to the iron. Iron is necessary in functional movement of chlorophyll. Functional movement of chlorophyll. So we all know that magnesium is the element which is mainly present in the chlorophyll structure as the central metal ion. Right. So in the central metal ion, the main element is magnesium. If the magnesium deficiencies happen, there is no synthesis of chlorophyll, right? So as it is the main element, as it is the main element, and also iron also helps to the functional movement of chlorophyll. By the given answer, D is 4, C is 2, right? And A is 1. So here is the A is 1. B is 3, here is the answer 3 students, and C is the 2. Okay, this is the answer for the given question. So you have to remember all these elements, students. Firstly, molybdenum, it mainly involves in the, main component of the nitrogenase enzyme is the molybdenum, and it is also acts as cofactor for the nitrate reductase enzyme. And coming to the zinc, zinc is mainly involves in the oxygen synthesis, and also it involves in the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme activation. So without a cofactor, the enzymes will not active, most of the enzymes will not active. So without enzyme, we call them as apoenzyme. With cofactor, we call them as holoenzyme. They are actually helps in the helps in the attachment of the substrate, students. Okay. And coming to the iron, iron mainly involves in the catalyzation of activation of many enzymes. What is meant by catalyzation, students? It fast steps the reaction, right? It catalyzes many activation of many enzymes, and also involves in the functional movement of chlorophyll. And magnesium is also one of the main element which is present in the central metal ion of the chlorophyll structure, right? So this is the very most important, students. And coming to the ferredoxin, and also it is main constituent for the amino acids like cysteine, methionine, and also many vitamins like biotin, thiamine, and all that. So these are the main elements. The answer is A 1 and B 3 and C is right. C is wait. B is 3, C is 2, and D is 4. This is the right answer according to the question. Got it? So you have to remember these compulsory in your mind, students, because they are mostly repeating questions asking from many years. So this is the previous year question, students. So that is why I kept in the front all I kept as the only important questions of which are appeared previous year questions, students. So here I given the handwritten notes to students. Here itself also there. See, sulfur. Sulfur in the plants is always present in the form of 2 ions, right? Because sulfur is also main constituent for the disulfide bonds, which helps in the stabilization of the protein structure. And it is present mainly constitute of 2 main amino acids like cysteine and methionine. and it is also involves activation of several coenzymes and also vitamins like thiamine, biotin and coenzyme A, and mainly constituent for ferridoxin. Got it? Now see the molybdenum. It is obtained from the soil is in this form, and it is a component of several enzymes. For the nitrogenase enzyme activation, the one of the main important element is required is the molybdenum. Got it? So, and it is also cofactor for nitrate reductase enzyme. It helps in the participation of nitrogen metabolism. For the fixation of nitrogen in plants, molybdenum is one of the important element. Got it? Now see the zinc. Zinc always present in the form Zn plus ions, and it activates many enzymes, especially carboxylase, which means it helps in the carbonic hydrase, anhydrase bond, and also needed for synthesis of oxygen, and also zinc is one of the main component required for the alcoholic dehydrogenase enzyme activation. For the what is the cofactor required for the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme activation, students? That is zinc, right? Coming to the iron. Now see, iron is main constituent for many proteins and transfer of electrons like ferridoxin cytochromes, which are involved as the electron carriers. So, it is reversely oxidized as F2 plus 2, F3 plus in the electron transfer, and it is also activates, catalyze many enzymes essential for the formation of chlorophyll. For the functional activation of the chlorophyll, iron acts as a main element. For the chlorophyll, the main element is required for the magnesium also, and the functional activity, iron is also one of the main element. Okay, students, coming to the next question. See the next question, students. Here is the next question. Identify the mismatch. They are asking about the mismatch. Let's see the mismatch. So here is the first option saying that sulfur respiration. Sulfur is the element involved in the respiration, photosynthesis, DNA, RNA synthesis they given. Coming to see the next options also, students. So here is the given cysteine, methionine, thiamine, biotin are the sulfur. So we know that sulfur is the element which having the constituted element of amino acids like cysteine and methionine, and it involves in the formation of vitamins in the thiamine and biotin. The sulfur is present in the thiamine, biotin, vitamins also, and for the constituent of amino acids like cysteine and methionine, sulfur is present in it. Here is the correct statement. Here they asked about the mismatch statement, right? So coming to this question, the B answer is correct option, but they asked the mismatch. Let's find out that. Next is C, manganese. So here is the manganese, and for the manganese and chlorine, students, you have to remember for sure they are involved in the photolysis of water. Photolysis of water or splitting of water. So in the oxygen evolving complex, these are the main elements, splitting of water. So manganese and chlorine are the main elements which are involved in the splitting of water or photolysis of water. Got it? Now see, photosynthesis, of course correct for the photolysis of water. So manganese is involving, right? And IAA oxidase, which means indole acetic acid, indole 3 acetic acid. For it is also manganese is one of the main component is required, and for the nitrogen metabolism also manganese is important. So here is the statement 3C is correct. And coming to the nickel. So nickel having the urease. So for the activation of urease enzyme, nickel is required, and it helps in the nitrogen fixation and cytochrome oxidase for the redox reactions. These are the elements present in it. So here is this is also correct statement. But according to all three we studied it, right? So according to the NCERT, but we did not study about sulfur involving the respiration, photosynthesis and DNA RNA synthesis. Not right? So that is why option A is the wrong option. So for a given question, the option A is the wrong option. Got it, students? So remember, see, again the sulfur is asked, right? It is a main constituent for the cysteine, methionine, and vitamins like thiamine and biotin, and also main constituent for the ferredoxin also. Got it? So these are repeating questions they are asking about. That is why I kept the mostly the previous year questions first, students, so that you can know about how many are main elements they are asking about in the examination. Got it? So based on this question, the answer is A is the mismatch option for the given question. So here I given the explanation also, students. So see once. So see, cysteine, methionine, thiamine, biotin are all sulfur. So all contain sulfur. That is why the B option is the right answer. And manganese, photosynthesis, IA, oxidase, nitrogen metabolism. Of course, it is also correct because manganese main essential for a photosynthetic water splitting, which means nothing but the water splitting process, students, nothing but photolysis of water in PS2 in the photosystem 2, and it is also involved in indolestic acid oxidase activity and also nitrogen metabolism. Got it? And coming to the nickel. Nickel involves in the urease nitrogen fixation cytochrome oxidase is correct option because nickel is the constituent for the urease enzyme and it is important for the nitrogen metabolism. Got it? So here I give an explanation also for you the previous year question, students, for your better understanding. So next, see the next question. Which mineral elements are present as structural components of electron carriers? They are asking about the electron carriers. So electron carriers are involved in the, so electron carriers, what are the electron carriers, students? Those are cytochrome, ferredoxin, right, and iron, sulfur, proteins, right. So for these all elements, which is the main important, students, which is the main important mineral they are asking, which mineral element are present in the electron carriers. What are electron carriers? Cytochromes, ferredoxin, iron, sulfur, proteins, these are the main electron carriers involving. So they are asking which minerals are present in these structural components. And also for the plastocyanin, students, the important element is copper. Important element is copper. So for all cytochrome, ferredoxin, iron, sulfur, cluster, the main important element is the mineral nutrient is iron. Iron is the mainly involved in the functional activities of catalyzation of many enzyme, students. So that is why the reason, so these are for all these electron carriers, the main element functional activity is done by the iron element. And also as it is the plastocyanin containing the copper. Plastocyanin containing the, students, copper. These are the main elements involved in the structural components of electron carriers. Got it? Now see the explanation, students. Here is see electron carriers in plants. Cytochromes, ferredoxin, iron, sulfur, proteins contain the mineral element called iron, and plastocyanin contains copper. That is why the reason the correct answer is iron and copper. Okay. These are all previous year questions, students. You should not neglect these questions. So what are the mineral elements are asking about? You have to keep in mind. Got it? That is why I am explaining along with the what they given. Also I am explaining the extra point to remember. So thereby it will get easy for the solving another more questions. So coming to here, the match the following, students. Here is the first element given as iron. So here is the given three tables. So first A is iron, which table is suitable, which table 1 and table 2 is suitable for the table 1. First table 2, table 2 and list 3, which are involving for the iron, we have to write it about. Okay, first is the iron. We all know that iron involves in the catalyzation of many enzymes, which involves in the activation of many enzymes, and it is the function, mainly shows the functional activity in the chlorophyll, right, in the chlorophyll formation. So here is the iron involves in the catalyze and formation of chlorophyll. So 4 and 3 are correct answer for the iron. Got it? Now see the molybdenum. Now see the molybdenum, students. For the molybdenum, what we know? It is a main important component for the nitrogenase enzyme, and it is also important cofactor for the nitrate reductase. Right? Let's see the options are there in it or not. So molybdenum is the nitrogenase. Here is the first option is correct. And coming to the which it is present in the list 3, and it is a main important cofactor for nitrate reductase. Right? So here is the list 3. The first option is correct. Got it? So molybdenum, it is a main component of nitrogenase enzyme, and it is a cofactor for nitrate reductase. For molybdenum, table 1 is correct, and table 2, which means, sorry, table 3, okay, all is 3. In the table 3, the first one is correct. Got it? So coming to the copper. Now see copper. So copper. So see, copper involves in the cytochrome oxidase. We all know that plastocyanin containing of the copper element. Now only we see the before question, right? So for the electron carriers, one of the main important element is iron, and also in that plastocyanin contains the copper element, right? So when you know about when you are discussing about the photosynthesis cycle, students, then you came to know about very clearly about this chapter. And questions also, if you already studied the topic, it is quite easy for you. So for copper is main element for the electron carriers like cytochrome oxidase C, which means the 2 is the option in the table 2, and coming to the table 3, which is the correct in the redox reactions. In the redox reactions. So here is the 4 is the answer. Coming to the D, nitric oxides and nitrate oxides. While we are studying the nitrogen cycle, students, so naturally also the nitrogen fixation is happening, right? How? By the lightning of heavy storms, and also industrially, automobiles, and also from the forest fires also, there is a release of large amounts of nitric oxides, right? So here is the nitric oxides. Now nitrate oxides involves in the forest fires and also automobile exhaust. Got it? If they given these type of questions, we have to keep answers like this, students. So they will give the 4 options. According to that, you have to keep the first table as your mineral element, and next 2 are the functional. What is the functions it is doing? So that you have to be list out like this, and just keep the answer. Okay. So this is the third question. Let's see the explanation, students, here. This is also previous year question, students. Here see, part of cytochromes and ferridoxin catalyze essential redox reactions. One of the main element is the formation of chlorophyll and catalyze. Okay. And coming to the molybdenum, so the cofactor for the molybdenum is the nitrate reductase, and it is mainly important component for the nitrogenase enzyme. Okay. And coming to the copper, in the redox reactions, the plastocyanin containing the copper element, and also they are involved in the chlorophyll formation in the redox reaction. That is why the copper we kept as the cytochrome oxidase and redox reactions. And nitric oxides and nitrate oxide, students, so they are produced by automobiles exhaust and forest fires also. Large amount of air pollutant will be occur by these nitric oxides. That is why the answer is forest fires and automobile exhaust. Got it? Now see the next question. Here is the match the following, students. They mostly ask from the mineral nutrition, they mostly ask the table formation question, students. So you have to remember the compulsory the functional activities of each element. So which I given the list in our handwritten notes. Now see manganese. When I am saying that manganese and chlorine are main important for the splitting of water or photolysis of water, right? Or photolysis of water or splitting of water molecule. Splitting of water molecule. Now see the element is there in here or not. So here the manganese, direct question, So water splitting in oxygenic photosynthesis. For oxygen evolving complex, main element is the manganese and chlorine. If they not given the manganese, definitely the chlorine. And also chlorine is mainly important also for the solute concentration, students. It is also involves in the solute concentration. Okay. Now see, magnesium. Magnesium is the central metal ion present in the chlorophyll structure, right? So magnesium. See here the direct chlorophyll is there. So 1A is 2, A is 2 and B is A is 2, B is 4, right? Next is the question sulfur. Sulfur is main element for the amino acids like cysteine and methionine, and it is also involved in the formation of vitamins like biotin and thiamine. It is a main important component, and also it is main important constituent for ferridoxin, and also it forms the disulfide bonds in the making the stabilized structure of protein, right? That is why the sulfur is involved in the disulfide bonds to stabilize the protein structure. Here is the C is the answer is 5. Now coming to the molybdenum. We all know that molybdenum is one of the main component for nitrogenase enzyme, and also it involves in the cofactor for nitrate reductase. Okay, see here they given the 4 options. In the table 2 they given the 5 options. We have to be keep correctly. Okay, so for the molybdenum the option is 3. See the option is there in here or not, students? A is 2, B is 4, C is 5 and D is 3. For the first option is the correct option. Got it, students? So you have to remember like this. So here is the explanation, students, same as like before. In this manganese is the main essential element for the splitting of water or photolysis of water in photosystem 2, and that is why we kept the water splitting in oxygenic photosynthesis. And the magnesium, it is a main important element further, it is present in the structure of chlorophyll in the central metal ion, right? It is also stabilize the structure, that is why we kept the chlorophyll as the answer for the magnesium. And coming to the sulfur, students, it mainly present in the amino acids like cysteine and methionine, and also forms the disulfide bonds in the to stabilize the protein structure, and also it is important component for the biotin and also thiamine vitamins, and also it is a main important constituent for ferridoxin, right? Coming to the molybdenum, it is a main component for nitrogenase enzyme, and it is a cofactor for nitrate reductase. Okay, so let's see the questions, students, next. So see the questions here. Potassium ion performs which of the following functions in plants? So when you see my class of protein pump theory, so the stomatal opening and closing, so that you know about the importance of the potassium. Okay, so it involved in the protein synthesis, students, and also it also involves in the anion cation balance, which mainly involves in the balance. Okay, by the opening and closing of stomata, so the main key role plays by the potassium and also chlorine. So the main lead there involves in the protein synthesis and maintaining of anion cation balance, and it is also required for meristematic segmentation. Meristematic activity, the potassium also is very important. So see the next second one, helps in photolysis of water during photosynthesis. Which mineral element is required, students? Manganese and chlorine, right? And essential for formation of chlorophyll is magnesium, and then iron is the functional element which acts for the functional element for the chlorophyll formation, right? So here the first 2 and 3 are wrong, so we have to eliminate the answers as whichever 2 and 3 are present. So this is the eliminate 2, here is a 3 is present, here is the, we have to strike it out to these 2 options. Now see the first option, 1 and 2 given and 1 and 4 given. So 1 and 2, we all know that 2 2 is also the wrong option. So you have to strike it out, strike it out. But here the combination given 1 and 2 only, not given 5, which means it is not wrong, not like that, students. The 3 statements are right. Potassium ion involved in the protein synthesis, and also it involved in the ion balance, anion cation balance will be there in the stomatal opening and closing, and also it is also involved in the meristematic segmentation, students. So that is why the answer is A is the answer, because here it is not given 5 as an option, but 1 and 2 are, so not 1 and 2, students, 1 and 4 are correct. So wait, here is the options are wrong, students. 1 and 4 are correct. 1 and 4 are correct, students, and 5 is also not given. So if the 5 is there, it is correct. So 1 and 4 are correct. So here is the 1 and 4 are the correct. Maintenance of anion cation balance, and it involves in the protein synthesis. Got it? So it is the 1 and 4 are correct options. Got it? Now see the next question. Here is the next question, students, assertion reasoning question. So here given free living bacteria such as rhizobium, which mainly involves in the symbiotic association with legume plants, right? And Frankia can help in biological fixation of nitrogen in roots of angiospermic plants. So we all know that rhizobium is the bacteria which mainly involves in the legume plants. So that are alfalfa, right? The sweet clover, right? Garden pea. These are all the best examples of the rhizobium. And Frankia, which involves in the symbiotic association with non-leguminous plants. Non-leguminous plants, that is Elenus is the plant which involves in the that is non-leguminous plant association. Rhizobium is the bacteria which involves in the leguminous plants, as the symbiotic association make up with the only legume plants. And coming to the Frankia, it is the symbiotic association with non-leguminous plant like Elenus. Okay, the both aim is to fix the nitrogen to the roots in the angiospermic plants, right? Now see the question, now see the reason. Prokaryotes exclusively contain nitrogenase enzyme, of course the correct statement. So we don't have that mechanism to convert the nitrogen as the utilizable forms. We don't have that mechanism. Plants also don't have that mechanism. So any organism they don't have that mechanism, but the prokaryotic organisms have that mechanism, because they have the main important enzyme name called nitrogenase enzyme, right? So here is the correct. Region is correct, which can catalyze the oxidation, which means the breakdown of dinitrogen into glutamate. Here is the wrong statement. Dinitrogen into glutamate is the wrong statement. We all know that for the nitrogenase enzyme activity, there is a blockation of oxygen will be there. Then it will fix the nitrogen. It will conversion of nitrogen into utilizable form like ammonia, right? But here is the given glutamate, which is the wrong statement, which means assertion is true, but reason is false. And reason is also correct, not correct expression of assertion, right? So here they see. The first option given as A and R are true, assertion and reason are true, and R is the correct expression of A. Here is the wrong statement. This is the wrong statement. Coming to the B option. Both A and R are true. Of course, the first statement itself here is the wrong statement. We have to eliminate this option. Coming to the C. A is true, R is false. This is the right statement. A is true, R is false. And coming to the D option, A is false, R is true. Of course, we know that R is false. A is true. Here, this is also eliminated from the option. The given option correct answer is the C is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Assertion is true, reason is false. Right? Now let's see the next question, students. So next question. Bronzing in legumes in legume plants, which means they have the association with the bacteria, prokaryotic organisms like rhizobium bacteria, right? So, bronzing in legumes and whiptail in cauliflower, the physiological disease caused due to the deficiency of micronutrients. They are asking about the micronutrients. Now see, bronzing in legumes, which means discoloration of legumes, which means the reddish brown color appear in the legume plants. That is caused by which element they are asking, and whiptail in cauliflower, which micronutrient it is caused by. So the bronzing in legumes, the deficiency, we all know that when we are discussing the chapter, the specificity of nutrients are very necessary. If their requirement is very low also, there should be the element for sure. So because they are directly involved in the process of their metabolism, right? So if it cannot be replaced by any other nutrient. If the plant needs the chlorine, if I give the more amount of nitrogen, so there is no point of it, because the plant need as the low quantity also, it requires the chlorine element. That is why the micronutrients, as they consist of very low in amount, they have to be present in the plant, right? So that is why the reason, if the lack of that element, which disease is causing. So bronzing in legumes is caused by the chlorine element, by the deficiency of chlorine, and whiptail in cauliflower is caused by the molybdenum element. Here is the answer is C. Bronzing in legumes, the deficiency of chlorine, this bronzing in legumes will be happen, and whiptail will be happen, which means there is no vein formation, students. There is no what we will call leaf blade. It will not form correctly because of the molybdenum element, because of the lacking of the molybdenum element. That is why the chlorine and molybdenum, 3 and 4 are the correct statements according to this question. Got it? Now see the next question. Here is the next question, students. Here is the first question is chlorine. We all know that chlorine is the main important element for the splitting of water, and manganese is also important for the splitting of water, and it is also, chlorine is also important element in determining the solute concentration in plants, right? So here is the given splitting of water. See students, there is no given of the splitting of water for the chlorine, but here is the given C, helps in determining the solute concentration. It is one of the function of the chlorine. So here is the answer for A is, answer is 2. Now see the B answer, sulfur. We all know that sulfur is a main important component for amino acids like cysteine and methionine, and also vitamins like biotin and thiamine, and it is also involved in a component of the ferredoxin, right? And it makes the disulfide bonds to stabilize the protein structure. Now see the any of the function is present here. It is a constant of several enzymes and vitamins found in induced disease and resistance in some plants. Structure and component of cytochrome C oxidase helps in maintaining anion-cation balance, and it is involved in protein synthesis. Here is a third statement given as not directly given all the essential elements, but here see essential functional components. Here is a main constituent for several coenzymes also and vitamins also. Right, vitamins like biotin and thiamine, and it is also sulfur is main component for the many coenzymes. Coenzyme A and important constituent of ferredoxin also. So B is the answer for 3. Now C. C is the potassium. We all know that before question only we studied that potassium is the main element for the protein synthesis and anion-cation balance. It helps to maintain the anion-cation balance in the plant and involved in the protein synthesis. Here is the C option is the one is the correct answer. Coming to the D, nickel. We all know that nickel is the enzyme which involves in the urease enzyme activation, right? Here is the given or not, and also not given that one, right? It is also involved in the nitrogen metabolism, but those it is not given. But here see, found to induce disease resistance in some plants. So it is also one of the important functional element performed by the nickel. Nickel is found to induce many disease resistance in some plants. D is the option as 4. Got it? So this is we have to analyze the questions, students, and here there will be given of options also. Why I am not giving is, so if you try it out to memorizing the things, it will quite easy to remember. That is why I am not providing the options for some questions, especially for the table oriented question students. So they mostly give these elements as the table formation questions only. So that is why you have to remember each and every function which are given as the NCERT. Okay. Now see the next question. Here is the next question, students. So which of the following is not criterion for essentiality of an element? So while we studying the chapter, students, that we know that criteria of essentiality of each element is very specific, right? Requirement of the element is very specific. If they a requirement is low amounts also, it should be there, right? And they are necessary for the normal growth and reproduction, mainly to set their seeds. The plants to set their seeds, they have to be, the requirement should be fulfilled. Then only the normal growth and development can be seen. So that is why B is also correct option. They are asking which is not a criterion, they are asked. Okay, let's see. Not replaceable by any other element. I given as example also, if there is a deficiency of chlorine or else any other micronutrient, if I giving the more macronutrient, so it is not, there is no point of to giving the more macronutrient, because the plant require the micronutrient as in low amount, it requires low amount also. Got it? That is why the option C is also correct. It will not be replaced by any other macro element also. So if it is requirement of micro element, then there will be compulsory, there is a requirement of the micro element only. And coming to the D, indirectly involved in plant metabolism. This is the wrong statement. Not indirectly, students, they are directly involving in the metabolism. So as the specificity is more. We all know that 22 elements, they are more discovered, 105 elements are discovered in plants of the various reasons and in the various places, right? But so out of 105 discovered also, these 22 elements are must and should. In that micronutrients are there, macronutrients are there, and other 4 essential elements also there. Right, students? That is why they are directly involving in the, not indirectly, they are directly involved in the plant metabolism. Okay? So they are helping in the reproduction to setting their seeds. That is why here the option D is wrong. They are asking about the not criterion for the essentiality of an element. That is why D is the wrong option. Top 3 are the correct answers. Got it, students? So then let's do the all next questions in the next session, students. So some of the questions are left. So revise this session, students, because all are repeated questions they are giving. So you have to remember each and every point. So let's summarize in the next session, students. So the mostly asked questions, in which element they are mostly asking, we'll make the list of it and you can copy that. Okay. So this is the today's session, students. Let's meet in the tomorrow session. Thank you.